Morning. It's Tuesday, February 8th, and something good is going on in the halls of Congress today, where we have Joe Manchin, who has been a pain in everybody's ass for the last couple of months, and Lisa Murkowski gotten together. They're going to work on the Electoral Count Act. And I have to be careful how I say that, because it's important to understand that what it is. It's the Electoral Count Act. They are getting together to work on the electoral count. Now, the Electoral Count Act was established in something like 1880, and it's just the formula for how to count the electoral votes and how to announce them in public. And why has this act become a highlight in our lives? It's a highlight because of what happened on January 6th. President Trump demanded Vice President Pence declare him the winner, discount all the votes. That was happening during the election. And just recently, at a meeting, the Federalist Society, an extremely conservative group, Pence finally spoke out. He has been very quiet for the past year or so, but he finally spoke out and he said in no uncertain terms, President Trump is wrong. I did not have the power to overturn the election. That's the first time that any of us can remember that Pence took Trump on publicly. And I guess based upon his actions on January 6th, and based upon his actions since then, he has fallen out of Trump's graces, and he has recognized the fact that he did right, and the public should know that he did right, and so he stood up and said Trump was wrong. And that's very important. Now, the Electoral Count Act is really a very simple thing. That it basically says that the people who run the elections in the states counted the votes. The Secretary of State of that particular state or some other high-ranking official has certified that the count is accurate, and they sign a certificate of some kind that says these are the votes, and these are the votes that you need for count for our state, whatever state that is. Okay, so they count them, and they put out a certificate that validates the fact correctly. And it doesn't say that it was counted 20 times or 10 times or one time. It doesn't say that. It just says it was counted. And then according to the Electoral Count Act, the Vice President, who is the President of the Senate, is responsible for certifying the election. He certifies the election because he gets a document that states that all these counts submitted their counts, and he has all the certificates. And he is required to make the announcements that every one of these states is certified, and they do it in alphabetical order. They must do it in alphabetical order. So it's a very simple process. So I'm wondering what in the world Manchin and Murkowski are going to do to make this process simpler and safeguarded in some way, shape, or form. Basically a very simple procedure. You have an official who counts the documents. Everybody who's involved in the count is certified to produce a certificate basically that says we counted this is the count, and we say it's right, and it goes to the Senate. The Vice President makes this announcement. And in the Electoral Count Act, it specifies that this must be done on January 6th, and it must start at 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Now, if there's an objection, that objection must be written out and signed by one senator and one congressman from that state. So there's not much more in the Electoral Count Act that's such a difficult thing to do, except for the fact that Donald Trump decided that he could overcome it. that he could stop the election and that enough objections to stop the elections. The whole point here is he and Manchin are working together from across the aisles. They're working on something that's very important and should be a very simple procedure, but it proves that Democrats and Republicans can get together and do the together and get something done. Proves that there can be compromise. Now, these are two very unique individuals in that they have stood up against members of their party and members of the other parties many, many times. And we know that Manchin has been a pain in the neck, and Murkowski has given the Republicans cause to worry many times also. Not a strict Republican. He has defied the party plenty of times. But in the end, she always ends up voting with them anyhow. But she at least has an opinion that is contrary to what a lot of the other Republicans are. Many, many times she has done that. So it's not, in my mind, such a big deal that these two got together. I want to see more Democrats and Republicans get together. I want to see some of the staunch Republicans, guys like Kevin McCarthy, Mitch McConnell. I want to see those guys get together, Democrats, and see what can happen. When that happens, then maybe this country will get its act together and get some things done, some good things done. So in the meantime, this is a very good thing that is happening. I won't call it great. It's good. And they're working on really a very simple procedure, so this is not an earth-shattering thing, although I think many may think it is. It's not an earth-shattering thing. To work together on the way we should count electoral votes is not that big a deal in my mind, but it's something. It's a step in the right direction. And let's hope this leads to more situations, more working together, getting across the aisle. One of the things that Manchin said, that Republican law, an avenue to overturn the election when one congressman and one senator can bring a state's authentic count to a halt that's wrong. So that's it for today. I'll see you in the morning. Bye.